have looked at how the dog connects with the ground. The next question is, how does the dog know where the body is while all this is happening? So how do they adjust their paws, their limbs, their balance, their force, and their timing while moving at speed? So that brings us to the role of proprioception. In this next session, I will guide you through why proprioception matters so much for agility dogs. Because proprioception is not just balance work. It is body awareness, it is control, it is precision, it is the ability to make tiny adjustments precisely when needed. And in agility, those tiny adjustments can be the difference between safety and unnecessary risk. So let's continue from the paws into the whole body and look at how proprioception can support faster, more controlled, and more confident agility performance. So, what do dog walk safety, clearing bars effortlessly, and navigating agility course with precision all have in common? They may look different, but they all demand a shared skill: the ability of a dog to sense, control, and precisely adjust their body with every step, every jump, and turn. And that essential skill is proprioception. Today, we're diving into proprioceptive training and how it can bring out the best in your dog's agility, improving their stability, control, and safety. To introduce myself briefly, I'm Jana Gams. I'm an active competitor in agility and FCI obedience with nearly 20 years of experience in dog sports training. I'm also a doctor of veterinary medicine and a certified canine rehabilitation practitioner. And I run Dogs4Motion, a canine rehabilitation and sports medicine center here in Slovenia. At Dogs4Motion, I work daily with canine athletes and their owners, including competitors in World Agility Championships and other big international events. I'm also the founder of Dogs4Motion Academy, an international platform where we train and support owners of sporting and working dogs around the world. So my work really revolves around helping dogs become their best, strongest, and safest selves on the training and on the competition field. By the end of this webinar, my goal is for you to walk away with practical techniques to enhance your dog's proprioceptive abilities and, in turn, improve both their safety and precision on the course. I'm so excited to get started, so let's dive in. So what exactly is proprioception? Simply put, proprioception is your dog's ability to sense where their body is in space. It's that internal awareness of each limb, joint, and muscle, and how they're moving. Imagine it as the sixth sense that lets your dog know the exact position of their paws, how to shift their weight, and also how much force to apply for any movement, whether they're landing a jump, taking a turn, or balancing on a dog walk. Proprioception is what allows a dog to make small adjustments on the fly, staying balanced, controlled, and precise with every step. It's a skill that we often take for granted, but it's absolutely essential for agility performance and safety. When a dog has strong proprioceptive abilities, they're able to handle high-speed, complex tasks with confidence, and also adjusting their movements with split-second accuracy. Now, let's dive a bit deeper into the science of proprioception. This incredible sense relies on specialized sensors called proprioceptors, which are located throughout the body, so in the muscles, in the tendons, and in the joints. These proprioceptors, they send continuous feedback to the brain about the position and movement of each body part. So they help the brain calculate things like how much force is needed to push off, how to adjust to a slippery surface, or when to make small corrections to maintain balance during a turn or running over a dog walk. So each time your dog moves, these proprioceptors are hard at work, sending signals to the brain about the angle of the limbs, the tension in the tendons, and the alignment of the joints. And the brain then processes all this information instantly, allowing your dog to respond smoothly and accurately, whatever the task may be. What's fascinating is that every proprioceptor has its own specialized role. For example, some are sensitive to stretch, detecting changes in muscle length as your dog jumps or reaches, while others respond to pressure, monitoring how much weight is being placed on each paw. And together, they form an internal guidance system, one that's essential for both precision and safety in agility. So, if proprioception is such a natural ability, why all the fuss about incorporating fitness exercises into our canines' athletes' routines? So, why is that agility dogs benefit so much from focused conditioning? It's not just about building strength and flexibility, though those are certainly important. But the real reason, because targeted fitness exercises are one of the most powerful ways to develop and refine proprioception. Let me give you a real life example. My husband, Primoz, he's our technical support guy. So he is an enthusiastic mountain biker who used to race competitively in cross country and enduro. These days, he's more of a hobby biker, but he still keeps up a solid training routine. Just recently, though, he told me that he was feeling a bit more stiff on the bike, like less agile and not as stable on rough terrain. What has changed? Well, it turned out that he had been focusing heavily on strength training, but he had let his yoga routine slip for about 3 months. Without realizing it, he was neglecting the core strength and proprioceptive work that yoga had been providing. He has since added yoga back into his routine, and his stability on the bike has noticeably improved. This is a perfect example of how strength training alone isn't enough. It's the combination of strength and proprioceptive conditioning that creates true agility and stability, whether on a bike or for dogs running an agility course. When you think of training proprioception, what comes to mind? For many, it's balance exercises. And while balance is a part of it, one common misconception is to think of proprioceptive training as just balance training. But true proprioception goes well beyond simply keeping the body upright. It also involves knowing exactly how much force is needed to execute a task. So when a dog needs to jump, land, or make a sharp turn, this proprioception guides them on how powerfully to push off, how to absorb their landing, and how tightly to turn. So proprioceptive training is really about developing this full range of body awareness, control, and precision. Before we dive into practical ways to improve proprioception, it's important to understand some of the factors that can undermine it. You see, proprioception isn't a fixed skill. It can actually be weakened by certain conditions. Let's talk about two big ones: fatigue and past injuries. Fatigue is a major underminer. Long training sessions, back-to-back competitions, and multiple day events can all take a toll, especially when recovery time is short. Proprioception can suffer without enough rest days, or also if a dog returns to training too soon after a break. So when muscles are tired, the body has a harder time maintaining that fine-tuned control, and we see more missteps and a higher risk of injury. So what can we do about it? First, make sure you don't train beyond your dog's fatigue level. We have all been in that position where we see our dog getting tired and we think, just one more repetition. But that's precisely when it's time to call it quits. Not only is that one extra repetition unlikely to fix any training challenge, but it also places your dog at a much higher risk of injury due to muscle weakness and a drop in proprioceptive control. It's also essential to gradually build back to full training loads after a long break and to plan rest days between demanding sessions. So by respecting your dog's need for recovery, you're protecting their proprioception and their long-term health. Then there's past injury. An injury doesn't just affect the muscles, tendons, or joints in the moment. It also disrupts the proprioceptive pathways in that area. So this means that even after physical healing, the dog's awareness and control over that body part may still be reduced. And that highly increases the chance of re-injury. So this is why returning to sports after an injury should be gradual, incorporating a variety of proprioceptive exercises to retrain that awareness over time. Here's an interesting fact. Although injured tendons may heal and become functional again within a few weeks or months, they typically don't regain their full tensile strength until after a year. That's a lot of time. And lastly, while I will cover it in more depth in the next webinar, aging is another factor to consider. We know that natural wear and changes in muscle and joint health can also gradually impact proprioceptive abilities. So with these underminers in mind, let's now explore how we can build and strengthen proprioception effectively, even with these challenges in play. So, what can we do to improve proprioceptive abilities in our canine athletes? The good news is there are several effective strategies that have a positive impact on proprioception. Let's take a look at a few of those. First, we will start with strategies that create immediate improvements in proprioception, giving dogs better control and awareness right before a training session or competition. And then, for long-lasting gains, we will explore targeted fitness exercises that build proprioceptive skills over time. So one such method is warming up your dog prior to any activity, whether that's a training session or a competition. So warming up raises the dog's body temperature, increases blood flow to the muscles, and kind of wakes up the proprioceptors. Studies in human athletes show that warm-up enhance joint awareness and improve reaction times, which translates directly to more accurate and controlled movements. And through a targeted warm-up, we're essentially preparing the nervous system and proprioceptive pathways for the demands of agility, and setting the dog up for better performance and a reduced risk of injury. Next, we have dynamic stretching and active mobility exercises, a perfect addition to any warm-up routine. Unlike static stretching, which involves holding a position, dynamic stretching keeps the muscles in gentle, controlled motion, mirroring the movements your dog will perform on the course. And this approach prepares the muscles and joints for activity while giving the proprioceptors continuous feedback. Studies in human sports science have shown that dynamic stretching helps improve joint range, reaction speed, and muscular responsiveness, all of which enhance the dog's performance and control on the course. And that is making it a valuable addition to any warm-up routine for agility dogs. So, warming up with the addition of dynamic stretching offers essential proprioceptive improvements that help your dog move with better control, precision, and safety right from the start of their run. Lastly, fascial manipulation, performed by a qualified professional. This technique targets specific areas in the fascial network to restore mobility and functional alignment, and that improves movement fluidity, coordination, and also body awareness. While fascial manipulation brings short-term improvements, it also creates lasting changes in proprioceptive control. Now that we have covered techniques for immediate proprioceptive improvements, let's talk about training approaches that create truly long-lasting effects. These strategies work to transform a dog's proprioception over time, building both control and responsiveness. And the key components are isometrics, sport-specific strengthening and mobility exercises, and plyometrics. So let's dive into how each of these builds a solid, reliable foundation for your dog's agility performance. First up, let's talk about plyometrics, the flashier side of proprioceptive training. Plyometric exercises are all about fast, powerful movements that teach the neuromuscular system to react instantly. For example, jump drills, hops, or rapid direction changes are all forms of plyometric training that help a dog develop the speed and reflexes that are needed to perform under the fast-paced demands of agility. Plyometric training strengthens the connection between the brain and the muscle, and through that, preparing the dog to respond quickly to all these sudden changes in direction or speed. Now, I won't dive too deeply into the scientific mechanisms, but here's the quick summary. When we perform plyometric exercises, specific proprioceptors in the body, like muscle spindles, Golgi tendon organs, and joint mechanoreceptors, so all these specific proprioceptors are activated. The faster a stretch is applied, the stronger the signal is sent to the spinal cord, and this is resulting in a powerful muscle contraction. Plyometric training helps the nervous system respond with speed and precision by enhancing these proprioceptive responses, while also kind of fine-tuning the body's protective reflexes. Now, let's go through a few examples of effective plyometric exercises for building these fast reaction times and improving neuromuscular coordination. So let's start with a simple but powerful plyometric exercise, the plyometric bounce grid. In this setup, we place a series of jumps or jump bumps in a row for the dog to fluently bounce through. And the goal is for the dog to move quickly and powerfully, with each bounce activating the proprioceptive and neuromuscular systems. Here are some spacing guidelines to get you started. So for a large dog, the initial spacing might start at around 180 centimeters, with each following jump set about 30 centimeters farther apart. So that means you would have 180, 210, 240, and so on. And we always keep the jumps low to maintain that controlled bounce effect. And there's a lot of variety we can bring in here. We can set the jumps in an arc or even in a zigzag pattern. There are so many ways to incorporate plyometrics, and I love including these exercises in the final stages of my clients' return to sport programs. They're also a big part of my online agility fitness courses. And remember, these exercises aren't just for border collies or larger breeds. Take Tilly, a Westie, for example. She benefits just as much from these plyometric drills as any other dog. Aside from jump drills, certain strengthening exercises can also be adapted into progressive plyometric forms. For instance, we have plyometric sit to stand-ups, where the dog immediately moves from a sit to a stand to an elevated surface up front with a burst of power. So this quick transition helps build explosive strength and control as the dog engages their muscles to rise instantly from the seated position. These variations are excellent for building strength and responsiveness and ensuring that the dog's proprioceptive skills are finely tuned for high-speed agility work. But fast reaction times alone aren't enough. What good is speed if the body doesn't know how to efficiently fire the system in the first place? That's where sport-specific strengthening exercises come into play. So these exercises form the foundation that enables the body to respond both powerfully and efficiently. Sport-specific strength training uses slow, controlled movements to teach the dog's muscles precision and stability before adding speed. Think of it as laying down the groundwork for effective, powerful movement on the agility course. And by training the muscles to engage deliberately, these exercises give the dog a level of control and the muscle memory they need to execute tasks at speed later on. One foundational exercise is the cavaletti circle, where we set up cavalettis in a circular pattern for the dog to step over in a controlled manner. As the dog moves through the circle, they build strength in their core, limbs, and stabilizing muscles, while also practicing precise foot placement. Next, we have, for example, the front feet down stepping exercise, where the dog carefully steps down from an elevated position with only one of their front feet, keeping the rear feet stationary. And this exercise builds both core and shoulder strength while helping the dog understand how to control their weight distribution, an essential proprioceptive skill. Another effective exercise is the rear feet pivot, where the dog moves the rear feet from one object to another in a controlled pivot. And this is a great exercise for developing rear end awareness, power, and coordination. Each of sport-specific strengthening exercises like these build the strength, stability, and fine motor control that allow a dog to respond with power and accuracy in high-speed agility situations later on. But remember, these are the foundations. Next, let's discuss isometrics. Isometric exercises involve holding a position under tension without any movement. So this type of training is fantastic for stability and core strength, and it reinforces the dog's ability to maintain control, even in challenging positions. Isometrics, they strengthen postural muscles and joint stabilizers, which are critical for agility tasks that require balance, such as maintaining a steady run over a dog walk, or keeping their footing on tight turns. And by improving stability through the isometrics, we help the dog build this fine-tuned control that agility demands. One fundamental isometric exercise is manual weightlifting. In this version, I gently apply pressure to the dog's side, encouraging them to engage their core and joint stabilizer muscles to counterbalance the shift. And this supple resistance builds awareness of weight changes, improves joint proprioception, and also strengthens the muscles that support the joints. Next, we have 3-leg stances, where the dog stands on 3 legs with 1 leg lifted. Also, the 3-leg stances, they mimic the off-balance movements, making it another powerful exercise for stability and core strength. Finally, there are cookie shifts, where we use a treat to guide the dog's head to the sides, encouraging them to shift their weight and balance in response. Cookie shifts engage the core and postural muscles and encourage the dog to stay steady while adjusting their weight distribution among the limbs. Isometric exercises in general help the dog build a solid foundation of stability and body control, and through that, to remain balanced and responsive, even during agility. And that is the entire goal of sport-specific conditioning, to combine fast reaction times, strength, and stability so that a dog can move with confidence, precision, and safety on any agility course. Each of these techniques, isometrics, strengthening exercises, and plyometrics, they work together to build a dog that's not only fast and powerful,